Take a good look, and what do you see? Could this be footage taken from the late 1800s? A time when these iron horses were the true pioneers of America's evolution? Or could have this been from the Roaring '20s, a time when steam power topped the pyramid? Or better yet, could have this been from the simple '50s, a time when bigger was key to being better? The answer is none. Instead, this footage was taken in 2014. In a time of rapidly growing innovations and renovations, 8 operating steam locomotives, representing railroad's golden past, have all gathered for an event of pure Michigan steam. Friday, June 20th, 2014. A thick plume of black smoke rises into the morning sky as the weekend's main event is about to begin in Owosso, Michigan, known as Train Expo 2014, Locomotives, Wings, and Wheels. With a variety of displays for air, auto, and rail transportation, our focus for this presentation will be on the railroading display, located at the Steam Railroading Institute. Once part of the former Ann Arbor Railroad, this working museum is home to the famous and recently rebuilt Pere Marquette 1225. Built by the Lima Locomotive Works in Lima, Ohio, steam locomotive number 1225 rolled out of the factory in October of 1941, classified as an N1 Berkshire. With 2 pilot wheels, 8 drivers, each wheel being 69 inches in diameter, and a 4-wheel trailing truck under the firebox and cab, this locomotive hauled freight for the Pere Marquette Railway during the Second World War. After 10 years of service for both the Pere Marquette and the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway, the 1225 was retired and donated to the Michigan State University for display in 1957. Since 1988, the locomotive has been restored to operating condition, thus becoming a household name in rail preservation. This is most apparent when the locomotive was used for both the sound and model template in the 2004 film, The Polar Express. Today, the locomotive has just completed its 15-year FRA inspection that began back in 2009 and ended in the fall of 2013. Even out on display in the pouring rain, it sure is great to witness 4 years of hard work being paid off. The 1225 is officially set for 15 more years of service as she participates with her fellow guests as part of Train Expo 2014. Amongst the visiting steam locomotives is the Little River Railroad 110, as it's seen here backing the hour-long train into the loading platform. Steam locomotive number 110 was custom built for the original Little River Railroad in Townsend, Tennessee in 1911. With 4 pilot wheels, 6 drivers, and a 2-wheel trailing truck, this Pacific-type locomotive weighs in at 58 tons, making it the smallest of its kind ever built for standard gauge. The 110 served multiple owners before being purchased by the current Little River Railroad in 1972. Since 1975, the locomotive has become the main steam power for the tourist railroad based out of Coldwater, Michigan. As part of Train Expo 2014, the 110 handled a majority of the hour-long trips. Here you see the train departing Owosso for its first run of the day. These trips travel along the former Ann Arbor Railroad, now owned and operated by the Great Lakes Central. For the citizens of Owosso, the headquarters of the Class II Regional Railroad, it's a pretty common sight to see a fleet of GP35s and GP38-2s rumbling out of town with their cargo in tow. For Train Expo, the common sight gets a bit of a sprucing up throughout the weekend, with not only the sights, but also the sounds of a steam locomotive heading both in and out of town. After traveling nearly 5 miles outside of Owosso, the 110 takes the lead as the train heads back to the expo. Back at the grounds, Train Expo is in full swing as the visitors take in the different activities provided. Live Steam is one such example, as a variety of families, rail fans, and yours truly have a chance to ride these 1/8 scale trains. The 7.5 gauge track has been beautifully laid out on the SRI property. Next to the live steam track is one of many different displays for the expo. The Mississippian Railway No. 76, a 280 consolidation, was purchased by the Steam Railroading Institute in 2005. The locomotive is currently undergoing a major restoration through the hard work of the explorers post-1225. As part of Train Expo, the group has set up a concession stand in the freshly painted cab of the 76 to help promote the goal of returning the locomotive to operating condition in the future. As the visitors head further into the grounds, they are greeted by the other steam locomotives that are seen on display. American Viscose Company No. 6 is an 040 tank engine that was built in 1925 by the Baldwin Locomotive Works in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This locomotive is privately owned by Scott Simmons of Dunkirk, New York. Little River Railroad No. 1 is the stablemate to the 110 based out of Coldwater. This tank engine was bought in 2000 and was restored to operation in 2004. Flag Coal Company No. 75 is one of 4 tank engines owned and operated by John and Barney Grambling. Being the first to be restored to full operation in 2004, the locomotive has earned a reputation for traveling to numerous museums and tourist railroads, offering both rides and throttle time during special events. The Grambling second locomotive, Lehigh Valley Coal Company No. 126, was also in attendance for Train Expo. Restored to operation in 2011, the 126 has been traveling around the country to many museums and tourist railroads like the 75. Throughout the event, the 2 locomotives exchange assignments of providing throttle time for the visitors under the Grambling supervision. Near the turntable is definitely one of the most glamorous and newest steam locomotives in attendance. Built by the Clokey Locomotive Works in Elgin, Illinois, Central Pacific No. 63, also known as the Leviathan, was completed in 2009 and has made multiple visits around the Midwest and eastern part of the United States to this very day. The locomotive is actually a replica to the original 63 that was built by the Schenectady Locomotive Works for the Central Pacific Railroad in 1868. Being a replica, David Clokey's 10 years of hard work and craftsmanship is still commended as the Leviathan looks just as stunning, both cosmetically and mechanically. While most of the time was spent on the SRI property during the event, the smaller locomotive swapped places with the 110 for the chance to operate the hour-long trains. This created an interesting variety of motor power, from double headers to even a quadruple header. Here we see the Little River 1 and Viscose 6 as it leads the train throughout the afternoon. There was quite an interesting twist throughout these trips, as the train was stopped by a group of robbers known as the Guitar Slim Gang.
All right, no messing around. Give me the money. Money. The hat. Give me the hat.
Want the hat too?
Well, you can keep the hat. Where's your money? Where's your money? I gotta have some money.
As brave as I try to be, deep down, I was completely terrified.
He's got dynamite! Look out, he's got dynamite!
Who's got dynamite?
Take cover!
I thought he left.
Take cover! That's Dynamite John!
I'm in the tornado.
I think it's a dud! No! Uh-oh! Look out! Oh, it's a dud! It's a dud! Oh, we've been shot! We've been shot!
With the commotion now at an end and the robbers sent packing, the doubleheader soldiers on back to Owosso. Built by the Lima Locomotive Works in Lima, Ohio, steam locomotive number 765 rolled out of the factory in September of 1944, classified as an S2 Berkshire. With 2 pilot wheels, 8 drivers, each wheel being 69 inches in diameter, and a 4-wheel trailing truck under the firebox and cab, this locomotive was used for fast freight on the Nickel Plate Road until retirement in 1958. The locomotive was donated to the city of Fort Wayne, Indiana for display in Lawton Park in 1963. In 1979, 765 was restored to operating condition by the Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society. Since then, the locomotive has become a renowned excursion star east of the Mississippi River. Today, the 765 is typically seen on the Norfolk Southern Main Line, operating excursions for the railroad's 21st Century Steam program. In June of 2014, the Berkshire was found here in Owosso, making it the largest visiting locomotive in attendance for Train Expo 2014. Besides being on display, both 765 and 1225 were assigned to take turns on the half-day excursion trains. The half-day excursions also operated on the former Ann Arbor Railroad of the Great Lakes Central, traveling as far as Alma, Michigan, about 40 miles northwest of Owosso. Between the two towns, we had locations set up in Carland, Elsie, Bannister, Ashley, North Star, and Ithaca. After arriving in Alma, the 765 is uncoupled from the train to back down onto the Y. Here, the locomotive, plus its auxiliary tender and tool car, will be turned around and repositioned at the other end of the train to head back to Owosso. While both the repositioning and quick servicing was taking place, we head south of Alma to the crossing on West Harrison Road. This location gives us an excellent curve as the train makes its way to its next stop in Ithaca. At Ithaca, the passengers disembark in Woodland Park. This is where the train will perform a photo run-by. We're now set up on this overpass just south of the park, as the 765 puts on a performance only a steam locomotive could provide. After the run-by is complete, the train leaves Ithaca behind, bound for Owosso. We're now on Main Street as the half-day excursion departs for another trip to Alma. This time, the Pere Marquette 1225 is in charge of the train. Not only are we trackside, but we're also providing coverage on the train as well. We're currently on board Iowa Pacific Skyview, a Santa Fe full-length dome car.
I said, I don't think I could do it.
The chasers were in full swing as they paced the train along U.S. Route 127. Of course, being under the careful supervision from the Michigan State Police for the safety of other vehicles. With the train now in Alma, the 1225 plus its auxiliary tender are turned on the Y to face south back to Owosso. We're back at Woodland Park in Ithaca as the passengers have disembarked to experience a photo run-by from the 1225. Shortly after the run-by, we head to North Star as the train continues towards Owosso. Back on the train, the first-class passengers are treated to a lovely afternoon meal of chicken and salmon. Being right behind the 1225, it truly is a dinner and a show. We're back in Owosso as we catch Lehigh Valley 126 and Visco 6 double-head the inbound hour-long train. The 1225 followed shortly afterward, as it will be unloading its passengers once arriving back at the expo. We'd hope you've enjoyed watching Pure Michigan Steam.